from Generation Strength and welcome to day 25 of the 30-day Strength from Home Workout Challenge, where we're going to be working out every single day for the next 30 days. This is our last leg session of the challenge, so we're maxing out the intensity with 8 exercises. We're completing 2 rounds back to back with only 20-second rest in between each exercise. We're going to be targeting opposing muscles so that we can get the most out of the 20-minute session in terms of rest, volume and muscle growth. On top of that, I've included 2 great mobility moves that will focus on opening up the hips and addressing internal and external rotation. Basically, this means that we're going to get the most out of our rest time by including some posture correction exercises. So join me in the middle of the mat for the warm-up. Center of the mat, feet pointing forward, rotating the upper back. Nice slow and controlled movement. So I don't want to twist the hips too much, keep the feet forward, the knees forward. Rotating as far as I can to the right and to the left while keeping the hips square, looking forward. From here I'm going to go down into a swap, sweeping the floor. Keep the knees out, push the bum back. My knees stay out, so don't let them come into the center line of the body, reaching up as high as you can. I sit back, my chest stays up. Stop at the top, switch directions. So as I come down, I'm pushing off the heel. Pushing the hips back, straighten the legs as I come up. Stop at the top, take the feet a little bit wider, we're going to go down into squats. Push the knees out as far as you can, open up the hips. Keeping the knees behind the toes, so I'm pushing my bum as far back as I can, keeping my lower back straight. As I come up, I straighten the knees, but I don't over straighten them. We don't want to hyperextend at the knees. A soft bend and squeeze the bum. From here, take the center of the mat, come down into downward dog. So I want to bend the knees, keep the back straight. From here, bring the foot out to the side, pushing the knee out, the toe is pointing out and facing away. And then I have shoulder rotation. So my back knee is down and my foot is flat. And I'm bringing the arm around and I'm sweeping the floor. Opening up the chest and fully rotating the shoulder. Hands back, take the foot back, high plank position to downward dog. From here, bend the knees again, keeping the back straight. Take the other leg out, pushing the knee out to the side and the foot away from the body. Back knee is down, I'm working the hip flexor, stretching the hip flexor on the back leg. And I'm opening up the hip at the front. Rotate round, bringing my arm as far back as I can to open up the chest, stretch the chest, and warm up the shoulder. One more. Back to downward dog, so high plank position, come up, bend the knee a little bit. From here, we're going to jump the feet into the hand, keep the back straight, come up slow. Hand against the wall, leg extensions. So nice and controlled movement, I'm looking straight ahead, tucking the chin, bringing the leg up as high as I can, slowing the movement down as it comes back, engaging the glute, but not extending the lower back. Switch sides. So hand behind the glute. As soon as you feel it engage, We're kicking it forward as high as you can. Make sure your standing foot is pointing forward, that your toes are forward. Again, soft bending the knee. Looking straight ahead with your chest out. Last move, ankle flexibility, so coming against the wall. Taking the knee to the wall, pushing the knee out towards the little toe. Keeping the heel on the floor. So we don't want to take the heel off. We're going to keep it down, control the movement, and help to increase ankle flexibility, which we're going to need today because we've got a lot of squats and lunges. So let's make sure we warm up the ankle, take it as close to the wall as you can, hold it for a second at the end range of motion, which means as far as you can comfortably take it, while keeping the heel on the floor. Switch sides. So I'm going to come close enough to the wall that I'm just touching it, so I can feel a full stretch on my ankle. Again, taking the knee towards the middle of the foot or out towards the little toe. Holding it at the end range of motion to get a real stretch on the ankle. One more. Okay, grab a drink. We're going to do 4 exercises. We're going to do 2 rounds. And then we've got another 4 exercises for 2 rounds. We're going to split it into 2 so that it's easy to remember the moves. First one we've got is a squat to reverse lunge. So you're going to take the mat, you're going to take the feet out towards the end of the mat, about hip width, shoulder width, whatever's more comfortable for you. I'm going to come down, my back is going to stay straight, my toes are slightly out, I come down into the squat, and then from here I take the leg back, and the other leg back. So we're doing a squat to a lunge, and then down again. So we have 40 seconds with 20 seconds recovery. So hip width, shoulder width apart, come down, let's put my hands in front of me so I can come down, get a nice stretch, take the foot back, lunge, lunge back to squat. This is our last leg session today, so we're going to try and pick up the tempo. We're going to try and go as fast as we can while keeping good form. So knees out, bum down. As I go back into the lunge, my knee almost touches the floor, but it's just slightly above. I'm taking my body weight backwards, so I'm hitting the hamstring and the glutes. Toes planted, I'm stable, and then I come down into the lunge. From here, we're going to go into a wide squat with calf raise. We're going to incorporate the calf, so I'm going to take the feet out, pointing the toes out like a sumo squat. We're going to come down and really open up the hips. And from here, we're going to come up onto the toes, back down and up. Let's go. So if it's feeling a little bit too much pressure, like, oh, you're feeling it in the hips, take the feet a little bit narrower. Otherwise, the deeper we can take the stretch, the better. So, halfway there. I come down, I come up onto the toes now, I'm engaging my calves, and come back up. Come up onto the big toe, back up, down as deep as you can, back up, squeeze the quads at the top of the movement. From here we've got a glute bridge. We're going to do one leg, so if you've got an object, great. We can make it a little bit more challenging. A modified version of this will just be foot on the floor, coming up. Otherwise, we can put our feet on the bench, one foot on, leg up. Remember that the knees track, so I want the knees to be in line. Have the leg straight, or you can slightly bend it if you want to, whatever's a little bit more comfortable. As long as you're feeling it on the leg that's down, on the glute and on the hamstring. Halfway there.
on one side 40 seconds, then the other side 40 seconds. Okay, so I want to make sure that we're driving the elbows down into the ground. As I do that, I'm pushing up off the heel. So now I'm going to feel it in this glute. The leg up, not so much. So I want to make sure that the hips are straight, so when I come up, I'm not rotated round. I want to feel it in the hamstrings, but predominantly, we want to feel it in the glutes. And we don't want to feel it in the lower back. If you're feeling your hamstring taking over, and you're not really feeling it that much in the glutes, come down from the object, come on the floor, and bring the leg up. Now you should feel it a little bit more in the glutes than when we go up high.
10 seconds.
Hold it at the top, squeeze the glute, and then back down.
Rest.
So now we're going to go into a twisted hip opener. So this is part of our rest. So we have the hand in line with the foot, the other leg is back, and I'm holding. We're going to do 20 seconds here, 20 seconds on the other side. So now we're going to switch. So I'm rotating around, I'm grabbing my foot, feeling it on the front of the quad and the front of the leg, and my knee is out to the side, so I'm pushing and opening up the hips, looking back at my foot. From here you're going to take a rest, and we're going to go into the squat to reverse lunge, so the first exercise. So I'm coming down into the squat, back is staying nice and straight. My knees are behind my toes. My chest is up, okay, so I'm not leaning forward, I'm upright. I push up off the heels, I take the foot back, squeeze the glute, and I go down, and then we switch sides. Come down, push up off the heel. Keep pushing as fast as you can. Keep your form good. Okay, wide squats. So take the legs as far as you're comfortable, pointing the toes out, coming down, coming up onto the big toe, engaging the calves, and then I'm coming back up. So down, engage the calves, come back onto the heel, push up off the heel. We don't want to come up off the toes, we're going to put a little pressure on the knee. So down, up on the toes, engage the calf, back on the heel, up. Go as deep as you can. Keeping the knees out. Push up, squeeze the legs, squeeze the glute at the top.
10 seconds.
Do what you want with your hands. I like to hold mine in front and then bring them back as the legs go up and extend. So glute bridges, again, if you feel it in your hamstring or your hips rotated, either we can go to a normal glute bridge and hold it. It's better to feel it in the glutes than to do the exercise feeling in the hamstring. You're not going to get the full benefit of the exercise. Otherwise, we're going to be on an incline, bringing the foot up. You can change your foot position. Maybe it's easier, more comfortable to do here. I find that it's engaging the hamstring a bit more. In that case, we can take the heel down, drive up through the heel as I drive up with the elbow.
Again, modified version, you're on the floor,
10 seconds.
not putting your foot on an elevated platform. Keep the knees in line. Ooh.
Rest.
Take 20 seconds and do the other side. So as I come up, I want to come up just high enough that I'm squeezing the glutes. I don't want to hyperextend the lower back, so don't think about flaring your ribs up into there. Think about taking your hips up as high as you need to for the glute to engage. Not necessarily that we're going for height like this, and I'm coming up, driving the elbows down. My glutes engaged here, so it's actually not that large of a range of motion. Keep pushing through. Remember, this is the last leg workout of the challenge. Drive the elbows into the floor, coming up. Lower back touches the floor. Come back up, reset. So here, coming into the twisted hip opener. So my leg is out. My hand is in line with my leg. I'm bringing my foot up and I'm rotating around to grab the foot with my opposite hand. Again, joints are stacked, so when I look down, I can see that my wrist is under my shoulder. I can bring the foot up so that it's off the ground, so that I'm pushing the knee out further, just to intensify the stretch. We're going to switch sides. You can hold this move a little bit longer so we can take it through the rest period. We're going to show you the next exercise. We're going to move on to inchworms. So come down into the inchworm, back nice and flat, walk the hands out. From here in my plank position, I'm going to bring the leg up, and then I'm going to jump my feet out. And then I'm going to come back up. As I come up, I bend the knees, I come on the heels, and I come up halfway, keeping the back nice and flat. As I come forward, I will come onto my toes. I'm just in a higher plank, so the toes are flexed. From here, I'm up, up, jumping out. Modified version, take the legs up, just take out the jump. So modified, we're up, no jump out. Essentially, I'm going back into a downward dog and I'm bringing my hands up. Try and keep the back flat. Leg down, leg up, jump out. We're going to go a little bit faster on the second round. Next we've got get up lunges. So we're going to come down onto the mat on our knees. Hips are straight so I don't have a bend in the knees. From here I'm going to bring one foot up, the other foot up, keeping low, down. We're going to do 20 seconds, same leg up. And then I'm going to switch and do the other side. So our hands together, up, up. When you come up, make sure the knee doesn't come into the center. I'm not going all the way up. I'm sort of hovering in a squat position. I'm keeping the weight on my heels so I don't want to come up onto my toes. So now we're going to switch, we're going to do it on the left side. Don't come up on the toes, plant the foot fully. Come up using the heel. Quick drink, then we'll go into a glute bridge. Normal glute bridge, both feet down. Holding this position, I'm reaching over to the top corner of my mat. So squeezing the bum. As I go over, my hips stay forward. I'm trying not to fully rotate. I'm just rotating using the upper back.
Halfway there.
So squeeze the glute all the way through the movement. If you're feeling it in your lower back, don't reach so far for the tap, just slightly reach over. From here we're going to a 90-90 stretch. So we have one foot forward, so my toe is away from it, and you can see that my back knee is in line with my foot. So, knees down. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over my knee. So you should feel it in the outer part of the hip of the leg that's down. So here we're getting some nice external rotation. You might find that if you don't have the best external rotation of the hips, if you don't get as deep in your squat, it's going to show by the knee being slightly up off the mat.
Halfway there.
So now we're going to come back, same side, we're going to rotate the hip over the leg, so the back leg, pushing my knee down. I can come back, so I can stretch the hip. We're just doing this side first, on the second side we're going to rotate the movement.
Rest.
So here you're going to feel it on the internal rotation, like in the inside of the hip. When we're forward, we're going to feel it more on the outside hip. So we're going to go back into the inchworm fast as we can, last round. Edge of the mat, back straight, walk the hands down, quick as you can, leg up, jump out. Bend the knee coming up, keeping the back nice and straight, back out. As I take the leg up, it's just high enough to engage the glute, but we don't want to be hyperextending the lower back. If you do have a problem with arching your back, we don't want to exacerbate it by doing it again in the exercises. So I come down, nice and controlled up, squeezing the glute, walking down. Let's get one more in. Down, high plank, leg up, jump out.
Rest.
So get up lunges. We're going to come down. So again, I want to be upright, I'm squeezing the glutes. I don't want to be in this position, I want the back to be neutral. So I'm going to squeeze the glutes, so now I'm nice and flat. Hands out in front, coming up. So I'm not fully standing, I'm just coming up enough to be on my foot. Hands back, hands together and back down. Plant the foot fully, push up off the heel. Now we're going to switch on your left side.
10 seconds.
Keep pushing, last 10 seconds. One more.
Rest.
Glute bridges, overhead reach. Come down onto the mat. Fingertips should touch the heel. I'm coming up, holding the glute bridge. And I'm reaching over. If you find that it's hurting the lower back, try and reach a little bit closer. Don't arch and come over. If it's still affecting your lower back, just come up, hold the bridge. And we can take the hands over into thoracic extension. We can go back to center, try and touch the hands to the floor. Back up, keeping the hips up. I'm not flaring the hips up and squeezing my lower back.
10 seconds.
Hands go in front of my chest and I take it over.
Rest.
Now we've got the 90-90 stretch on the other side. So, again, same position. So my feet are both bent at 90s, where at my knee I can see that I've got a 90-degree angle. From here I'm going to lean forward over my legs, so I'm feeling it on the outside of the hip. And I'm going to go back. So now I want to square off my hips in line with the leg.
Halfway there.
So now I'm feeling it deep here in my internal rotators, and then sometimes here you're going to feel it underneath the hip. If it's a little bit too intense, we can take the arms back.
keeping the knee down flat. Imagine it stretching around the hip.
Rest.
Okay, that's today's lower body workout done. I will see you tomorrow, 4 days left. And we have upper body.